Hello, this is Gatha Goddess with the Gatha Goddess Confessions. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, to like, to comment, and to share. Let's elevate. I'm sure that most of us have heard the term, it takes a village to raise a child. What does that mean? That was like back in the day when if you was somewhere and you acted up or whatever the case may be, and honey, the neighbors would get a hold of you. The neighbors would tear your tail up, and then when your parents got home from work, they was gonna tear your tail up again. Yeah, it takes a village to raise a child. But people, a lot of a lot of young folks. I mean, you can tell by the way things are. It's like people aren't being raised anymore. It's like these people are just out here having children, and all they teach them are like the basic necessities, how to eat and how to put on clothes, but they're not teaching them anything else. They're not teaching them how to rely on themselves. They're not teaching them how to function in this world. They're not teaching them how to function around other people. They're not teaching them to properly function out in the world. And I mean, it really shows. I mean, like, for example, there's a lot of people out here now that, I mean, they don't have good work ethic, and it seemed like it didn't used to be that way. I mean, but now you have folks that they come to work and they're lazy, and now I'm not talking about my job or anything like that. Let's make that clear. I'm just, speaking in general, and about things that I have seen in the past on, on past jobs that I, have been on. People are just Some people are just lazy. And I mean, I guess I'm used to working hard. I'm used to being around people who, work hard. They do what they have to do. People work two and three jobs. I myself have, at times worked two and three jobs because, you make it do what it do. You make it you do what you have to do. That's my work ethic. That's me. And I'm used to being around people who are like that, not people who are just lazy, and it's just like you come to work when you want to, and you're constantly calling in sick when you're not sick. I mean, if you call in sick and you are sick, that's one thing, but calling in sick just because you want a day off, or you want the weekend off, or you put in because you want these particular days off, and you can't get those days off, but suddenly that weekend you end up sick. Come now. Come now. I mean, just they're not being taught proper work ethic, and how, until or unless you have your own business, you have to have proper work ethic. And even if you do have your own business or your own situation, if you don't have proper work ethic, that's not going to work for you. You're not going to know how to work hard. You're not going to know how to, put forth that effort, even if it's for yourself. You're going to expect things that aren't going to happen. People aren't being taught common courtesy, or how to just respect people around them. I mean, like, and this is one that I encounter all the time. You're in the grocery store. I'm standing there looking at an item. People will walk so closely in front of you that they literally brush you and will not say, excuse me, pardon me, nothing. It's just like, really? Neanderthal, you just that rude and just nasty, and just don't have the, yes, I'm going to say it, you don't have the common sense or the wherewithal to say, excuse me, when you pass so doggone close in front of somebody, you brush them? Like, seriously? And you look at them and you think, who raised y'all? Well, apparently nobody. People don't have respect for their elders. I mean, because to a lot of folk, they see older people, more mature people, elderly people, they just look at them like, oh, they just old or whatever. That old person, that person you're calling old, could be imparting wisdom into you. You should respect that person. Like church mothers and such. Church mothers used to be so respected back in the day. Now as people treat them as if, in some situations, as if they're just there to look pretty. They're just there to wear the white suits. They're just there to sit on the front row. No, respect older people, respect more mature people, respect your elders. These are the people that raised, at least raised your parents. Apparently they ain't raised you very well in some respects. And if this doesn't apply to you, then it doesn't apply to you. A lot of people, oh, and this is a big one. And I'm talking about grown folk now, have no respect for the church or even how to dress for the church. Back in my day, I wish you would try to come stepping up in church with your cleavages all out and wearing something too short, too tight. The church mothers would grab you up right quick, and they would minister to you. They would speak to you, daughter, you shouldn't be wearing that to church. It's okay to wear that somewhere else, but you might not want to wear that to church. That's not respectful. That's not respecting the Lord's house. But I have seen it with my own eyes. I seen it. People coming up in the church for church service and weddings and funerals look like they dress for the club. You could go, if you needed to, you could go straight from the church to the club because you sure dress for it. Back all out, all kind of cleavage showing, your clothes entirely too tight, the men pants so tight that all the family jewels on display. You ain't got to wonder, oh, well, I wonder what jewels that family had. They all on display, everything tight enough to see them. Just and it's because for some people just don't care, but a lot of people there aren't being taught. And it's just like, come on now, a lot of y'all know you wasn't brought up like that. A lot of y'all know that your parents didn't bring you up like that. But we have generations now, it's just they're not being taught these things. A lot of people aren't being taught common respect. Respect. And that's another reason that, okay, there seems to be an issue, not seems to be, excuse me, there is an issue now where you have a lot of these men, a woman can reject them, from something as simple as, can I have your number? And a woman can respectfully, I'm not talking about being nasty, a woman can respectfully tell them no or no thank you. And women are being assaulted for telling a man no. And why is this? A lot of these men aren't being taught to handle rejection. A lot of these men are not being taught that people are going to tell you no. And just because somebody tells you no, that does not give you the right to wild out and start assaulting folk, start cussing folk out and this, that, and the other. You do not have that right. Some of these men are not being taught that there will be instances in life where you will be told no, where people will reject you, where women will reject you, where in situations you won't get a promotion or you won't get this, that, and the other. If you don't get that promotion that you thought you deserved on that job, you can't wild out and tear that office up, because now they about to go call security And now you done lost the job, all because you think that it's okay for you to act a certain kind of way. No, it is not. That's not acceptable. One of my Facebook friends, she had made a post on her page, and she was asking the lady, she said, what is the worst thing that has happened to you from being rejected? And these women listed things from being spit on, punched in the face, shot, shot, shot. What makes a person think that they have the right to react to a person violently because they turn down your advances? And in these cases, as I said, the women were, when they turned them down, they were nice and respectful and everything. Didn't matter. The thing is, they were told no, and they wowed out. That's not acceptable. That's not okay. You cannot walk around in this world acting any old way that you feel like acting and just being volatile and violent and such. People are not being taught. They're not being raised. They're not being raised respectfully. They're not being taught how to function in the world and around other people. It takes a village to raise a child. Where have all the villagers gone? And when you see situations, correct, try to correct a behavior if you can. You may not be able to correct a behavior in an adult because they may not be accepting. But if you see an opportunity, try to, hey, especially the men. I mean, like if you see another man disrespecting a woman or, as in one of the situations I mentioned, tap that brother on the shoulder and say, bruh, no, that's not it. If that young lady don't want to go out with you, then she don't want to go out with you. You need to do something different. If you see a young lady dressed inappropriately in church, that's just an example. And that's a tricky one because if there's a difference between somebody not knowing any better and then there's a difference between somebody wearing what they have. So just be careful in that situation because if something risque is all you have and that's how you come up in the church, well, we're going to accept you and love on you because that's all. That's a different situation. But I'm talking about where are those villagers at that used to help raise? People aren't being raised anymore. And sometimes you can do something about the situation, sometimes you can help, and sometimes you just have to do what you can to just pray that they get it right, to pray that maybe Lord send somebody in their life that they will listen to, that they will accept, that can help them and guide them and teach them. Because we all need help and guidance and teaching in some ways in our life, even as adults. Even as adults, hey, there's sometimes I need help. Sometimes I need guidance. Sometimes I, need to talk about something. Sometimes you learn something new every day. Well, until next time, always remember to be true to you.